Yeah? I'm live. Hey everybody, welcome to Fit Tip Tuesday. Oh my God, why do I keep saying that? Welcome to Fab Fit Friday. I apparently don't even know what day of the week it is. My daughter just yelled downstairs that she was having a minor emergency, and I told her I was live and I couldn't help her, so I'm hoping the washing machine isn't going to explode or something. Okay, so today, what I want to work on today is my burgundy jeans. I did a final test pair and I made them out of some denim that my mother had given me a long time ago, and it has an all over yellow, like a buttercup yellow embroidery, just, I'll show you in a second, but it's flowers and vines, and I thought it would be a good test fabric because if they worked, I could shorten them and make them shorts. And as it turned out, I had to make some adjustments that now I can't wear them, and I'm going to show you that in a minute. But I just want to say that if you're fitting pants or jeans, the best way to tell if it's right and comfortable is basically just to wear them all day. And I like to do that before I work on like good denim. So if you remember, I started with my non-stretch women's jeans pattern that I designed way back when I first started, and I have not sewn them since 2013, so they needed a little bit of adjusting to make them bigger to fit me. So let me just stop and say hi Andrea, hi Janie. Oh, Janie wants to know what the weather is. The weather is getting warmer. You can see I have a sleeveless top on because I'm quite warm in my second floor studio. And it's actually kind of a drizzly day today, so I did go hiking, but it's not the best day, but it is starting to really get warm here. We've had like 60s almost all week. Hi, Sally. Oh, Sally has the same burgundy denim as I do, so I'm going to sew my front pockets today, Sally, and I'm really excited. I decided I'm going to use white top stitching thread on my burgundy jeans. So before we get started with that, let me just switch my view here to my picture-in-picture, and I just want to show you, remember this from last week, I showed how to do some things on here, and then for Fit Tip Tuesday, I showed how to do a prominent tummy adjustment. So the pink shading you see here is my prominent tummy adjustment. Hi Francine, thank you for joining me. Okay, so basically what ended up happening was I made room for my belly. I cut out my jeans out of this fabric right here, and I just want to show you, this is a way, if you have the kind of figure that you can pull your jeans up without opening the zipper like me, because my tummy, waist, and full hip measurements are almost identical. I basically put a yoga pants waistband on so I could wear them. So that's how I finished them really quickly to wear. Oh, hi Diane. Hi Mary. Oh, Mary lost track of time because she was sewing 2 pairs of jeans. I love that, Mary. That's nice. I'd love to see your jeans too, so I hope they're coming out well. Speaking of time, before class, I'm teaching a jeans construction class on Wednesday nights, and I thought I would have enough time in an hour and 15 minutes to cut out my front leg, all my pocket pieces, iron them, clean finish them, and sew them in an hour and 15 minutes. And as it turned out, I did not. I got them prepped, but I did not have time to sew, so that's why I'm going to sew with you guys today. But anyway, let me just get back to this quickly. What I ended up having to do after wearing these all day is I picked up the front crotch about a ½ inch, and I'll just show you here. I sewed this little pleat through my center front, and I went to 0 at the side seams, okay, and that made that feel better. So on my adjustment here, Remember, if you saw on Tuesday, I actually lengthened my front crotch through here. Well, I didn't need that, so I ended up having to take that back up. Now, the rest of it worked great. My front fits wonderful other than that, but I did have to pick up the front crotch where I lengthened it that little bit. So whenever you do a major adjustment like this, you really have to test it to make sure it works for your figure. So I did take that up. And then, if you remember, I busted through my first muslin. It was too tight. So I had added to the back crotch points a little bit. And then in the end, I ended up having to take back out a little bit. So I probably took out half of what I added. So I had added a little bit too much. So I took out about 1/4 inch through the inseam as well to shorten the crotch points. So those were the two things I did to fix my jeans, and then I cut them out. Let me see. Oh, Diane wants to see your jeans too, Mary. Okay. All right, so let me show you here. I have my front pieces ready to go. So here are my my two front legs. Okay, and you can see I already have them prepped, and what I did was I clean finished everything, all the edges, so I don't have to go back and forth between the serger and the sewing machine. And for my front pocket bags, I'm going to use this. This is a very lightweight khaki fabric that I got at Joann Fabrics, and it was called their Luxe khaki. And if I feel it, like, it's a very lightweight fabric, like it would work for a pair of summer pants to be worn when it's super warm out, because it is a very lightweight fabric. But I thought it would make a really cool pocket bag as well. And it's really hard to tell the right and wrong side of this fabric. So in order to tell my right and wrong sides, I put red in my upper looper and black in my lower looper, so I know the black is the wrong side of the fabric. So that's how I'm going to keep track of that when I'm sewing my pockets together. Oh, Mary said that where could you post the pictures? Mary, if you send me the pictures, if you email them to me, I will put them in the community tab on my YouTube page, and I can share them that way. I can also share them on my Instagram, or you can share them on Instagram. But if you want to email them to me, I can do a post in the community tab on my channel, and then you guys can see them there. So whatever works. Hi Diane, welcome. Okay, so I have my pocket bags, and this pocket bag is a one-piece pocket bag. So it's going to sew like this. Let me just work with one at a time here. It's going to sew like this. And then after it's sewn, it's going to flip over to this side like this, to the inside. And then from the inside, it's going to fold up. So this is a relatively easy to sew, quick pocket bag. Okay, so it'll end up looking like this. And of course, I have my denim facings to hide the view. So why don't we get started? I'm going to set up my machine so you can see my machine, because the first thing we're going to do is work on the coin pocket. And you can see here I already have it pressed and ready to go. Okay, so this is what my coin pocket looks like. From the wrong side, you can see that I pressed the sides down but not the bottom, and that will get rid of bulk at the bottom. So the first thing we have to do is top stitch along the hem or the top edge of the pocket. Yes, Mary, my Gmail. If you need that, let me know, and I can put it, I can comment and put it in there for you. Oh, I think it's below the videos as well. Yeah, send it to me in my Gmail. I'm super excited to see. All right, so let me get my machine set up here. Instead of dragging my camera over to the machine, I'm just going to bring the machine over here. I think that's going to work better. And just to make myself not distracting, I'm going to move my picture-in-picture over to the other side. All right, so we just plug this in. Okay, and then I just need Plug this in. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm working on my. Well, let me just make sure I can have it. Hold on. Let me just get a little bit of a better view here. That's better. Okay. Okay. I'm working on my Janome 67P, and if I take, actually I'm not going to take the foot off because that's kind of a pain. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, this machine comes with feet that have built-in walking feet, and I just want to show you you can get both the straight stitch and the zigzag plate. So I just want to show you here. See on the bottom here, these feed dogs? Well, there's feed dogs on the bottom of this foot as well, so that's going to help me be able to stitch really nicely. So I've got my straight stitch foot on for that. Okay, let me just see here. Hi, Nilgun. I'm good. Thank you for joining us. Okay, Mary just sent 2 pictures of black pair of jeans finished last week. Oh, well, you know what? While we're on, I have my iPad here just by chance. Let me see if I can, my Gmail. Where's my Gmail? All right, let me see here. I don't normally use my my mail on my iPad. Let me see if it comes up. But then the pictures will be big. Let's see here. All right, so let me go to mail, all mail. Okay, let's see. All right, so let's see. Mail. Looks like I'm in the, how can I go to my primary? Oh, unread. Oh God. All right, I don't think I can find it on my iPad. Just see something here. All right, let me look at my phone. Oh, Mary, it comes right up on my phone. Okay, let me see here. All right, so let's look at Mary's pictures. Look at her cool back pockets. That's very cool, Mary. Look at the quality of that top stitching. That is beautiful. Oh, Mary's in the woods again, so that's why it took a long time. I just think my iPad isn't set up right for my Gmail. Look how nice that is. All right, let's look at her front. Oh my gosh, I love these pockets. Look at that. Mary, very nice job. Very nice. And you're using white top stitching thread too, so I'm going to be on Burgandy, but that is such a nice job. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I will put these pictures up on the community tab so people can see as well, but thank you for sharing. Very, very nice. All right, good. Let me see if I can let me see if I can stitch up to Mary's standards here. All right, so I told you about the foot and the reason why I like that. I have regular thread in my bobbin and I have white top stitching thread in my needle. And before I start stitching on my actual project, I'm going to grab a scrap so I can test it on the Burgandy, because I just want to make sure my top stitching is going to look good. Let me just make it a little bit bigger so you can see. Okay, so let me just try this. I'm just going to top stitch through 2 layers so I can get my stitch length the way I want it. I'm going to move my stitch length to 4, or maybe 3.5. Let's try. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, so let's see. Let's see if we like this. Okay, I think I like that. And the thing you want to check is the back. Notice in the back you really can't even see the stitching. If you're getting your top stitching thread to show up on the back, that means you need to tighten your needle tension a little bit. Okay, so I don't think I need to make any adjustment to my tension because I think that's a really nice quality stitch. Mary said, Mary said it's light gray top stitching thread. And then she said, I saw those pockets on a pair of my shorts and I copied them. I love that pocket style. I'm going to be making a pair of pants out of a blue, it's like a denim blue linen cotton blend fabric I have. And I think I'm going to put that kind of pocket on it. They're not going to be jeans, they're going to be pants, but I really, really like that pocket, Mary. Oh, embroidered pockets are a great idea. They are. I will tell you, my embroidery machine is not working right now, and I'm feeling very sad that I have not been able to do any embroidery. So I'm working on a solution for that, though. So let me show you this. Now, I want to stitch across my front pocket here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, I think what I'm going to do, there's a thickness on the edge of the pocket. So see, the folded edge is kind of thick. So to keep my presser foot from being, you know, affected by that, I'm actually going to use the scrap of fabric as a leveler. I'm not going to stitch on it, but I'm going to butt it up against the back of my fabric here. And that way I'll be able to start right on the edge, okay, without it getting stuck or funked up on the edge of the pocket. So I'm going to take 2 stitches forward, then I'm going to go back 2 stitches, and then I'm just going to come right across. And when I get to the end here, I'm going to hand walk it, and then I'm going to go back 2 stitches. Okay. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I think I traumatized my machine. Let me see here. Sometimes backing up causes... Oh, you know what happened? My thread got jammed. My thread... Okay, so I had a lot of thread. All right, let me just... I had a lot of thread unwound off the spool and it got caught under something. That's why I just had this problem. Let me just fix that. Okay, so see, I made a big mess with my thread. So let me just wind that back up so that doesn't happen again. Oops. All right. I didn't want to waste all that top stitching thread, so I put the extra like behind my machine and it got caught. All right, so that made a little poo-poo here, but that's not going to matter in the big scheme of things. All right, let me just rethread. Okay, so when you cut the tip of your top stitching thread, if you cut it at an angle, that little angle will make it a little bit easier to thread. Oh, I'm just going to thread my thing back here. Hopefully it will just go nice and in for me. Okay. All right. All right, and then just to make sure nothing's still screwed up, no, I'm going to shut my machine off and turn it back on. I think I traumatized it. All right. All right, so I'm going to put my stitch back to 3.5. I'm just going to test it to make sure everything is still stitching fine. Yes, all right. Okay. All right, so I've stitched that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring over my Well, actually, give this back to me. I'm sorry. I'm going to actually do 2 rows of stitching on my jeans. So let me get my backup fabric behind the start of my pocket. And I'm just going to stitch right parallel here. Stitch back. All right. Excellent. Okay, so that worked much better. You can see that if you look at the first row of stitching, how tight that is, that's because when I was stitching, my thread was caught behind my machine and then I didn't notice it. And now you can see that we've got that nice stitch back. And I'm just going to trim the little bit of the hem that shows on the right side, like this. Okay, and then I'm also just going to trim my tails because I back tacked. Sometimes I'll pull them to the wrong side and tie them, but for this I'm just going to do that. Okay, so now the next step is we want to look at the pocket opening here. So let me just change the view a little bit so you can see. All right, so what I want to show you here is we want to position the coin pocket on the, let me see, I think I want to put it actually, okay, so we want to put the coin pocket on the denim facing, which also needs to get stitched on the pocket bag. So the way this is going to work, let me just show you how this all goes together, and then I'm going to show you how to decide where to put this coin pocket. Okay, so the first thing is this piece right here needs to get sewn to the bottom edge or the wrong side of the corner that's below the front pocket opening. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this like this. I'm going to position this just like this, and basically I'm going to sew it on as if it were a patch. So let's just use some lovely Wonder Clips to hold my pocket down on the edges, like this. And let's go back to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew this denim facing onto that edge of the pocket. And I think while I'm there, I'm just going to do both of them. So here is my opposite side. Okay, so the right side up, remember, is red. So it needs to go here. So let me just flip this. And then my opposite denim facing is going to go like this. So I'm just going to use Wonder Clips to hold them around the edges. And I'm putting my clear flat side of my Wonder Clip down on the bottom so it will be against the machine, because that is the proper way to use a Wonder Clip. All right, so let me bring the machine back. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sew right around as if I were sewing a patch, and I'm literally just going to, I'm just going to use my top stitching thread. Now, if you don't want a clean finish your these denim facings, you could sew this on with a triple zigzag and clean finish and attach them at one step. All right, so there's one. I'm not going to use my automatic thread cutter because I think it's causing the machine to stress out, so I'm just going to use my my scissors to cut. All right, so I did that one. Let me just do the other one. Anytime you can do like almost production sew. So if you have to do two of something, if you do both of the same steps at the same time, that makes your sewing a little bit more efficient. Okay, I'm going to pivot around. I'm not being super careful on this step because no one's ever going to see the stitching. All right, so let me just cut that. All right, so now that we have that sewn down, our next step is going to be to decide where we're going to put that coin pocket. So what you have to remember here is you have a 1/2 inch along the top edge and side edge that's going to disappear in the seam allowance of the side seam and the waist. So you want to keep that in mind. And then the other thing is, I'm going to get my leg back over here. Okay, if I line this up like this, okay, you have to also remember this edge is going to be turned under about 3/8 of an inch. So you want to position your pocket in a attractive, like what you consider to be an attractive position. So I think for these jeans, I'm gonna have it so so if I turn this under, I'm just gonna turn this under the seam allowance so I can see the curve here. All right, that way I can get a better idea. I think I'm gonna put my pocket so it peaks, so that corner edge just peeks out a little bit, so it's going to look like that. Okay, so I think that's what I'm going to do. And I am going to stitch, let me just pin it. I'm going to pin it in place and then double check. And notice I'm putting my pins in the middle of my pocket. Now I don't have to move. What's going on with my camera here? Okay, sorry. Now I don't have to move the pins out of the way when I sew. So let me just double check that I like that. So if this is up like this, it's just going to show a little bit like that. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do my pocket. So now let's bring the machine back. And this time I am going to stitch, and actually let me draw it in. Hold on one second, let me get my chalk. Hopefully I can find my chalk. Okay. I don't want to have to worry about pivoting up at the top here. So what I'm going to do, sorry, let me see my ruler. I am going to stitch up off the edge like this. All right, so let me show you how that's going to work. Now this is an idea that you'll either like or dislike, so if you don't like this, it's okay. But instead of worrying about pivoting at the top of my coin pocket, I'm going to start at the waist. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stitching. Oh, oops, became unthreaded. Let me just thread that. Oops. There we go. All right. Okay, so as I was saying, instead of starting on the pocket, I'm going to start back here. And I'm going to stitch right onto the pocket. and then I'm going to stitch down. Okay, and then I'm going to stitch around the bottom edge. Okay, and then when I come up, I'm going to stitch really close to the opposite edge. I'm going to go all the way up here. Then I'm going to take, let's do 1, 2 stitches. And now I'm going to stitch back down. And that just makes a nice clean finish up at the top. Now as I come around the corner, I'm going to actually overlap and stitch closer to my bottom edge. Because remember, no one's going to see this, but I want to hold down that edge so it doesn't flip up. And then I'm going to, okay, so see, my edge of my presser foot is not even with that white, so I'm going to take one more stitch because I want to have an even amount of distance in my top stitching if I can help it. Alright, so now we're just going to stitch right back up. And right back to the waist. And then I'll just do one back tack here. There. Okay, so now I've got my, that's going to be my top stitching for my coin pocket. Okay, so Mary said I would sew that from the bottom of the coin pocket, then you go up over the thickest part easy. That's smart, Mary. Mary would have started at the bottom. That's smart. You could totally do that and go this way. Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay. Oh, hello from Brazil. Welcome. Okay, so there is my coin pocket. All right, so now that we've done that, the next step is we are going to sew the front pocket facing to the front pocket on the legs. That's going to be the next step. So I'm just going to get rid of my pins here. And I'm going to get my legs over here. And again, I'm going to plan this so I can do them both at one time. Now, working with this one-piece pocket bag that I have going on here, you want to put the right side of your fabric face up. So the wrong side of your pocket is actually up against the right side of the jeans. Okay, so I'm just going to put some pins here so I can pin it, just a couple. Now I think just for, you know, easiness, I'm just going to use my top stitching thread to sew that so I don't have to switch threads. But I'm going to set them both up. So here's my opposite one. And then I'm going to go back to the sewing machine. So let me just pin this. Now the way I do my front pockets, when I sew my front pocket bags to my front pocket openings, I do it in a way where I do not have to clip the curve. Okay, I just understitch and turn it to the wrong side. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. So let me get my machine back over here. Oh, you're welcome. I'm afraid that I won't pronounce your name right. That's why I said hello to Brazil. So I'm sorry. I'm very happy you're joining us. All right, so to sew the front pocket facing, what we're going to do is we're going to start here, and I'm just going to use the side of my presser foot as a guide. I do not want a wide seam allowance because I am not going to clip my curve. So that's part of how you don't have to clip your curve, is not having a super wide seam allowance here. So I'm just going to sew right along. I'll take my pins out as I get to them. I'm not gonna back stitch on this. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I am gonna understitch. Now the way I understitch is I am going to be pulling the fabric away from each other like this. Oops, I think my mouse is in the way. Let me move that. Okay, so I'm gonna be understitching so that, whoops, oh shoot. I keep cutting my tail too short. Let me just give that a nice diagonal snip. Oops. Okay, go in. Gosh. Hold on one second here. Come on, you can go in. I think my thread is being camera shy. Thank God the top stitch needle has a bigger eye, or I'd never be able to thread it. All right, so again, as I'm understitching, I am just going to stitch. Oh my God, it came unthreaded again. Why? I thought I had plenty of tail. Oh my gosh, please. I'm going to get it in there. I'm going to make sure we have plenty of tail. Come on. All right. That's plenty of tail. All right, so as I start stitching, I'm going to pull the fabric away from each other like this. I am going to back stitch once there. Okay, so I'm just going to stitch along. And as I come to the curve, I'm not only going to be pulling it away like this, I'm also going to be going like this. Because the goal is when I reach over to the other side, I want a straight line. That's how I know when I turn my pocket underneath, it will be laying flat. So I am just going to understitch and push the fabric to encourage it to be completely straight by the time I get here. Okay. All right, so I'm going to be done with that. I'm going to leave a big long tail so I don't come unthreaded. All right, so let me just do the other one. Okay, so this time, starting at the top. I think I did started it at the top on the other one too. All right. Okay, so again, I'm using my side of my presser foot as a guide. Now what you have to remember, when you're sewing this to the front pocket opening, you're defining the actual shape of your front pocket opening, because the seam that you're sewing is going to be the edge of the opening. So you do want to take your time here and make a nice shape. If you sew crooked, your edge, your front pocket opening will look crooked. I mean, I'm fast and I cut corners, but if it's something that's going to show, it's important to take your time. All right, so again, let's just understitch. And this is my really nice denim from LA Finch fabric, so I want to make sure I do a really nice job on these. All right, so again, I'm going to understitch here. coming in from the opposite direction, so instead of pushing it away, I'm still, well, I guess I'm still pushing it this way. So see how my hands are going like this? Okay. All right, excellent. All right, so now we're going to be on the next step, which is to top stitch along the edge. But before we do that, I just want to show you here, because we have a narrow allowance, seam allowance, and because I understitched, when I go to press this to the wrong side, you can see that I can probably get it to lay nicely just by finger pressing. So see how nice that looks? Okay, I didn't even use the iron, and it makes a nice crisp edge. Okay, so I'm not even going to drag my iron over here. I'm just going to finger press it like that. And I'm going to do the same thing for this second pocket here. Okay, so we've got it turned to the wrong side, and I'm just going to finger press my edges. And actually, if I use the Wonder Clips to hold the folded edge, that will act like finger pressing. So I don't have to run and get my iron. I mean, I have my iron, but I might iron later. But just to show you, like, I really don't even need any heat here. I can just use my Wonder Clips. Oops. And it will lay nice and flat, see? Let me show you on this side. See what a nice edge that is? All right, so let me just stick a few Wonder Clips on this one. And actually, they should be like this. All right, so I'm a lover of non-traditional top stitching, because I think top stitching really adds to the look of your jeans. So to top stitch, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start down here, and I want to make it symmetrical on both sides. So I'm just going to measure maybe an inch down. So I'm going to come in from the inch, and I'm going to come in like this. And then I'm going to join my, maybe even a little bit more. I'm going to make a curve like that. And also over here, I'm going to do this kind of a thing. So when I top stitch, I'm going to start over here, and I'm going to curve in like this. Can you guys see? Let me make it a little brighter. Just want you to be able to see. So I'm literally going to do this. And I'm making myself a guideline out of chalk. It's kind of messy. But what I'm hoping is if I take these Wonder Clips off now, I'm hoping I can transfer that to my other front pocket opening by just, let's see, I'm going to take off these Wonder Clips for a second. I don't think I need them anymore anyway. I'm going to line this up. Let me see if there's enough chalk on there to transfer. All right, so I can see it here. So I'm just going to make that darker. And then down here, I really can't see, so I'm just going to make sure I create an even kind of start like that. Okay, so that's how I'm going to make symmetrical top stitching. All right, so now let me show you how to top stitch these front pocket openings. We'll do one at a time here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch right up next to my edge. Let me make it just a tad. Okay, so I'm just going to start right here. And I'm just going to stitch really close. And as a guide, what I'm looking at is the folded edge of my front pocket is in the middle of this part of the presser foot. That's what I'm using as a guide. Okay, and then just to keep with my production sewing vibe, I am just going to hop, well, let me just do one back stitch, and then I'm just going to hop onto this one. Okay, and I'm just going to take my time going around my curve here. Alright, so now I've done both of those. Now I can go back in, and when I'm doing the second row, I want to make sure that my pocket bag is nice and flat. And see, right here is a little bit of a boo-boo. I'm not going to take it out, but if I had used the iron to press it, that wouldn't have happened, but that'll be okay. But you want to make sure everything's laying nice and flat because we're going to be stitching down a little bit deeper this time. Alright, Sally says, so good for me to see this again, especially all the top stitching tips. Your top stitching is beautiful. I'm going to work on my real jean pockets and zipper fly this weekend. Yay, Sally. Okay, so I'm going to start down here. Okay, and this is where I'm going to make like my curve up to here. Then I'm going to follow along. And I'm going to make sure to then follow my line going back out. Like this. Okay. Alright, so let's take a look at that. So see, that's just a little bit of a different kind of top stitching. And you have to remember, some of this is going to be hidden by the seam allowances, but that's just a little bit of a different design. Okay, so let me do the other one. Okay, so this time I'm going to start at the top again. Just lining everything up here. Okay, let's see how this looks. Alright, so let me lay them out so you can see. Okay, so there's one. Oh, that one came out a little bit funky. My stitching here, this is not the curve I wanted. So somehow I went astray there. I do like this curve though. So I'm going to fix that. I don't like that. Let me see what the other one looks like. I am sewing a little bit cockamamie. I have my I have my machine at a funky angle. All right, so this is really happier. Okay, so I'm going to leave this one. I'm going to finish this one later when I get off camera. I'm going to take that out and fix it. But I like this. So now what you do to finish this pocket is, and this is the side that has all of the stuff on it, or I mean the coin pocket. So this is what the inside of my jeans look like. Okay, so I used red so you could see that. And then I want to turn it to the right side so you can see what's happening here. I never use my front pockets, but I wanted to show how to add ease for your hand. So you can see that my my leg piece is sticking out. So when I go to sew this, I'm going to push it in like this. So I'm just going to pin it here. Use a wonder clip. Okay, and then I'm just going to pin it along here. I guess I could use pins. Okay. All right, so see, this is how it's going to look when it's finished. Okay, for just something a little bit different. And again, keep in mind, the top ½ an inch on either side is going to be, you know, taken up by seam allowance. So that's how the finished pocket's going to look. Let me just see. Diane says, can you remind me which of your patterns are you using for these? I am using my original non-stretch pattern. This is what the original pattern looked like back when I thought papyrus was a cute font to use for my logo. But this is back in 2007. I have reprinted it, so now if you order this, it does not come on tissue, it'll come on heavier paper. But this is my original no stretch jeans I made to kick off my whole J. Stern Designs adventure, because really it was part of my initial collection. And it's still a great pattern. I have to say, like, some of the things I drafted early on, I look at now and I'm like, oh my God, that's terrible. But not the jeans. I spent a lot of time. I spent 2 years developing jeans before I made a pattern. So, you know, I started with pants and jeans, and they're still my favorite and my most passion to get the proper fit. So, but the one thing I will say about this pattern is, look how skinny the front leg is. It has forward side seams, and the inseam is a little bit forward. The reason why I designed it that way is because when I used to wear a pair of 7 For All Mankind jeans that I loved at the time, they had forward side seams and a little bit of a forward inseam, and every time I wore them, people would say to me, wow, you look like you lost weight. And I think the reason why is because if you can visually see the side seams from your front view, it's a vertical line, and I think it just is slenderizing. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. So when I made this pattern way back then, I kind of copied that idea of making the front leg a little bit narrower than the back, so you could see the seams, the vertical seams. So that's what that is. All right, so that's my tutorial for today. I think if I get off and not fix that other pocket, I won't do it. So if anybody wants to go, you can go. It won't offend me. I'm gonna just take apart the top stitching on the other leg and fix it. So if you want to hang out and watch that, you can. But this is an example of, this is yucky, I don't like it. So basically I'm just going to pick it out, and because I'm using top stitching thread, I can pick it from the top and just pull the, you know, pull the thread out as I go, and then I'm going to restitch it. So, because I do want these to look nice. Does anybody have any questions about designing front pockets, or is anybody working on jeans besides Mary and they want to share their story? Oh, and the other thing is, just as an aside while I'm just chit-chatting here, I was asked to be a guest judge for Pattern Reviews round 2 of their sewing bee, and it was how to repurpose denim. And I have to say I am so happy that I was not in charge of picking a winner because they were all really wonderful entries. And I spent 8 hours looking at all of the entries, and it was such a cool experience to be able to see all that and to really look at them. So if you're interested in that, make sure you head over to the blog at Pattern Review and check out the winner. It's a very cool vest. In any case, I was doing that this week too. All right, just to reinforce my, hopefully, what did I do with my chalk? Did it fall? I seem to have lost my chalk. Oh, here it is. I'm just going to redraw the line, so hopefully I can do a better job the second time. So it's here. And then here. All right, so let me see if I can do a better job this time. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's try this one more time. See if I can get a better, top stitching on this side. Okay. I think that'll be okay. Oh, I didn't need to do that. All right, let's look at it together and see if I'm happier. Oh yeah, I'm definitely happier. Okay. All right. Let's get them both out here so you can see. I'm gonna make it a little bit wider so you can see. All right, so there's one side. Here is my other side. All right, so I think I'm happy with the look of my my two pockets. Let me fold this one up and get it ready. Okay, so of course on this side here I have to trim off the zipper seam allowance. When I work with this, I work with all the layers, and then on the side that there is not going to be a zipper, so the left side, I'm going to trim off the zipper seam allowance after. So again, I'm just going to scoot that in. Okay, so there are my two front pockets. You may be saying to yourself, wow, that really bumps up, you know, because I made room to put my hand. But what I want to show you here is, notice when I have something curved under it, it lays flat. And that's because when your body's in there, that won't bump up, but you will have the extra room if you want to stick something in your pocket. All right, so that is my tutorial for today, and I'm like super excited that I got my top stitching done. So yay, I'm glad you guys joined me. Please let me know if there's any questions in terms of, you know, how to sew your front pockets. By next week, by next Friday, I will have everything sewn together, because I'm hoping in the actual class on Wednesday I will be showing how to do the, you know, how to sew the back yoke on, how to make back pockets, that kind of stuff. So basically by next Friday I should have a pretty close to finished pair of jeans ready to show you guys. So I'm super excited about that. So that's my report. I hope you guys are enjoying these Fab Fit Fridays. And, oh, Diane's asking, nice job. Can I make these jeans with a rather narrow leg? This pattern is very fitted. Okay, so that's the other thing about this pattern. And I got them printed at McCall's when I originally got them done. And I think during the printing process, I think the pieces actually even shrunk like not quite a 1/4 inch, but it's a very fitted pattern. It is a boot cut pattern, but I did straighten the legs. So these are straight leg jeans that I'm making now, and they are fitted through the leg. So I think that you'd be able to make a, you know, a very fitted pair of jeans with a narrow leg if you're using this pattern, because like I said, it's a very fitted pattern. You know, it's designed to be a non-stretch jean with not a lot of ease. So yes, I think you can, and thank you. Yay, so I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna put Mary's pictures on the community tab so you can see them again if you'd like to. She did a really nice job on her top stitching, so Mary, thank you for sharing that. And, you know, if anybody else has things that they want to share, email me at my jsterndesigns37@gmail email, and I will share them. You know, let me know if I can share them. I'll share them either on my Instagram or on the community tab on my channel here. So yeah, so I'm super excited, and I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope everybody's staying safe. I will be back on Tuesday with another Fit Tip Tuesday, and I'm not sure if I'm going to do, I got a question about how to make tummy room in a man shirt, which I think is kind of a cute question. I may do that, or I may do something else. I'm going to look for on my list of subscriber questions, and I'm going to do a fit adjustment that I've been asked. So it'll either be how to add tummy room in a men's shirt or something else. And then I will alert you to what the actual Fab Fit Friday topic will be for next week. I'm not sure what's going on because I think my jeans will be so close to being finished that I'll have to pick out something else to do for Fab Fit Friday next week. So anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful rest of your weekend, and thank you for joining me, and I will see you again next week.